if you sign really early and you're still like finding yourself, finding your sound, like I was 21, like I don't know who I am. I don't know. I'm still like emulating artists that I like, being like, maybe I'll sound like this person, maybe I'll sound like that person, right? And then you have pressure, expectation. Maybe you feel very insecure about who you are. It's like, it's a recipe for just like confusion. And I was definitely in the position where I was like, I'm writing. I would come to LA. I was co-writing, and it was like, you're not there yet. Keep writing. And so I'm like, I'm not there yet. Like, what does that mean? Am I not enough? And that again is another wound that I, have had since I was a kid. So I definitely feel like I'm the most comfortable in my skin I've ever been. I feel like definitely am able to be vulnerable. And I think it shows in the music too, because I'm able to like go places and like really, again, meet myself in these dark places and not hide from myself.
Alessia de Gasperis is a musical artist. She's formerly known as Kai, and maybe you know her from the smash hit Never Be Like You with Flume. Today she shares about her journey inside and then outside the music industry. She talks about how to be your own mentor when you feel alone, and she's really, really honest about how she learned to listen to her own feelings. Here's my conversation with my friend Alessia.
Music was always, as a kid, like I was definitely that kid who's like new, like from like the age of 6, 5. I'm like, this is what I came here to do. And then somewhere along the way, I got really, like, I don't know, the thought of pursuing it really scared me. Like, I was that kid who, like, made my friends, like, walk 10 feet in front of me in order to, like, sing for them. Like, I was, like, so afraid of being seen. And I wasn't that kid in high school who was, like, the singer. Like, nobody knew that I could even sing. Like, I was very much, like, in hiding, which was so contrasting to like who I was as like a little kid, which is interesting. So I decided to like go to university. Actually, I did audition for Berklee College of Music. Mm-hmm. I was like pretty confident. I was like, I'm going to get into the school. Like, and I didn't. I like flew there, I auditioned, and I had no plan B, which I've never really had a plan B. It's always been this like tunnel vision. So when I got rejected, I like received that message like, oh, I'm not meant to do this. It was like, it just took that one rejection for me to just completely decide that maybe I wasn't good enough.
And you were a teenager.
I was 18.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just graduated high school.
Yeah.
So I went to university for a year. It was the darkest year. I honestly don't even remember like going to school, like going to class. I would just smoke weed and like write songs in my dorm room. And then I realized after that year, I was like, okay, I can't, like I have to pursue this thing. So I found this school for music in Toronto. It was like an audio engineering music business school. Mm-hmm. Convinced my mom. I was like, I'm going to go to school, but it's going to be for music. And yeah, I got signed like within the year of going to that school. I got signed to like my first record deal, which is kind of crazy.
And was that crazy for that school?
Yeah, I think so.
Like meaning among your peers, that was crazy.
Yeah, it was definitely, I mean, I guess the school was audio engineering and music business. So the people there were not necessarily like trying to pursue the artist path. They wanted to like work in studios and maybe become producers or publishers or managers. So, but for me, it was always like, I'm going to go to this school. I'm going to make connections because I didn't know anybody. My family's not in the music business. Like I didn't have any connections to people in the business. So one of my teachers was a publisher at Warner Music in Canada. And she like came out to see one of my shows and they signed me to like a little development deal. But I was like incredibly green at that time and didn't really understand what I was signing up for.
What were you signing up for?
A journey.
Yeah.
A journey. Like, I thought at that time, well, it was a different time. Like, the landscape of music was so different. It was, you didn't see independent artists, right? It was like early 2000s, or I guess like 2010. So it was like you get signed, you sign a record deal. And there's a lot of opinions, like a lot of people who have an idea of what you should be doing, what you need to sound like. And so I kind of just, it felt like in a way it helped me grow, but it also stunted my growth at the same time in ways.
Who are those people? Like,
yeah, I mean, they're A&Rs, like presidents of a record label. I think it depends on who you are as a person. Like, I definitely was somebody who, because of the way I grew up, I had this wound of like wanting to be seen and validated, but also like didn't love who I was like my identity, my foundation was really like not solid. So I'm like, I want to please you. I want to be who you want me to be.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I also have this like need also to be me. So there was like this duality, this like contrast, right? I'm like, I want to please. I want them to like want to put out my music, because that's a real thing. And I actually know a young artist who's going through that right now, where if you sign really early and you're still like finding yourself, finding your sound, like I was 21, like I don't know who I am. I don't know. I'm still like emulating artists that I like, being like, maybe I'll sound like this person, maybe I'll sound like that person, right? And then you have pressure, expectation. Maybe you feel very insecure about who you are. It's like, it's a recipe for just like confusion. And I was definitely in the position where I was like, I'm writing. I would come to LA. I was co-writing, and it was like, you're not there yet. Keep writing. And so I'm like, I'm not there yet. Like, what does that mean? Am I not enough? And that again was another wound that I, have had since I was a kid. So yeah. So years I went without putting out anything.
Like once you got signed?
Yeah. I got signed. So I put out my first EP before I got signed. I was still going to that school. So before then, I've reflected on this recently. I'm like, I didn't have that like fear before I got signed. I made an EP. I put it out. I was like playing shows live in Toronto. I was doing it. I was like, moving forward. Then I get signed, and it's like, oh shit, this is legit. Now there's like people who see this potential, but they're like, it's not there yet. So I'm like traveling, I'm writing, I'm co-writing. And that was something new for me, because I was just like a solo writer in my bedroom with my guitar. And that's something that I've had to reclaim now at, in my 30s. It's just like, I love writing music by myself. And I do love collaborating, but I think getting in rooms early when I hadn't fully, not that you ever fully hone your craft, but I think you get to a point where you're like, I'm confident in what I do and my skill. Mm-hmm. And you're in rooms, again, super sensitive person. I'm absorbing, and I'm like, I really struggle to just like hear myself and the ideas that wanted to flow through me. And so I was learning how to write a good song, but none of the songs felt like me. I didn't like love any of them. So, it's really interesting.
It is. It's almost like you know yourself to be someone who, if you're in a room where people will have like a voice or opinions, which is any collaborative space, right?
Yeah.
Whether it's about you or about the thing that you guys are collectively making, you will like defer to that before being able to like hear yourself. And now that you need to like be alone first so that you can hear your own point of view, right? And then bring it into the spaces where someone might have might have an opinion, or you might be collaborating with. But back then, you're just like going in there without this awareness. Yeah. And it sounds like there's like a strong contrast between what they want you to be. Like you talked about what they believe you could be, what they want you to be, and who you really are, which isn't formed yet because you're 21. And can we talk a little bit about like, what did they want you to be?
I don't think it was a specific thing. It was never like, oh, we want you to sound like this artist or make this kind of record. It was more, you're just not ready. So I was like chasing this like thing that it was like this dragon. I'm like, I don't know what that means or when I'm going to be ready or when they think I'm going to be ready, right? Mm-hmm. So it wasn't so much pressure to like sound a certain way. It was more just like you need to keep like writing. You need to keep like creating because we'll know when the thing is worth putting out, which I think is, I get it from like a label perspective because they're spending their money on you, right? If you put out a song and you want to make a music video, they have to believe in that to like, but as an artist, I think it can be really like isolating and damaging to not just be able to like learn by putting things out and being free to just like create and share and then be like, okay, I made that thing. I put it out in the world. Now I'm going to make this thing. And that's a really important way to learn. So when you get signed really early, it's hard to do that because you have this company who's like, well, we need something worth betting on.
Wow, that's so wild. I didn't know that like you're literally like prevented from like I assumed it's just like churn it out, we're putting it. No, and and you're right. That's a big part of how you learn is like if you're an artist, you know, you're trying to make something that like has a connection with people. And if you don't get to have that connection by sharing it, you're not like actually in an artistic dialogue. You're just in an echo chamber of your own.
And you're stagnant. You're stuck. You're like, there's no exchange, right? And it's not natural for an artist to not be able to put out their work unless you as an artist feel like this isn't something I want to put out. Maybe I'm on the way to making the thing and like this is just, you know, the way to get there. But yeah, it's really challenging. So it was really interesting though because I was in this like holding pattern with the label, but at the same time I'm on my own connecting with people and sending them ideas, and that's how the features kind of happen. They didn't happen through the record label, they happened through me just like putting myself out there. And well, aside from Never Be Like You, that came through my publisher. But so it was interesting because I'm not allowed to put out music, but I have these features out in the world that are like in the specific genre of music that I wasn't ever trying to be, not trying to be a part of. Like I love dance music, I love electronic music, but that wasn't the music I was trying to make for myself.
When you did it, like you were rewarded for it, right? Like by that, like how did people react when the alternative path led to like big success, right?
Yeah. It's so weird because I feel like even when Never Be Like You was out, I feel like I don't remember, like I wasn't able to fully experience that moment. And take in what was actually happening and what Flume and I made together and all of the incredible experiences that I was experiencing. Like I was still not at a place in my life where I was like able to like ground in my body and my nervous system. And so I don't know, like the label still was like, you're not ready to put out your own stuff because I think also what happened was because I had these songs that were successful in this genre, then it's like, okay, what you're making isn't, maybe in their opinion, it's not on par with like this song that's now like this massive song. And so then that created a bit of pressure, like a different type of pressure. It's like, we want a Never Be Like You.
Yep.
And I'm like, you can't force a Never Be Like You, and Never Be Like You is Flume and I together. What I'm making on my own is me.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, that's a lot to take in as like a 20. How old were you?
I was 26 when that song came out.
Oh wow, that's the same age that I was at the Olympics, and like now I'm like, oh, I was a baby.
Were you able to like really take in what you were experiencing?
I mean, in a way, but I also like ran the next day. Like I also like did not think that I could stop. So my thing was about like, I thought that this would like, and I felt like it was a momentum I had to like not lose momentum after that.
Yes.
And so yeah. And I think I lacked like, I had a coach that was like, enjoy your days off, but he wasn't like, hey, listen, like you need to like, this is a very athletic thing. Like you need to like absorb the enormity of this. You need to take time off. There was a lot in the post process of that peak that I know now that I didn't know then. And so like, yeah, I think I was like underprepared to handle like the enormity of it.
Right.
And yes, I don't think I appreciated it nearly as much then as I do now.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God. Like and I'm so fond of it now. And I'm also really grateful for like the work I put in to get there. Cause I can't imagine like that kind of fitness now is like hard to imagine.
Wow.
But to not remember, to not be able to relish in real time for you, it seems like it was like multifaceted. Like it's one, like you hadn't yet like fully grounded in your own like orientation as a human on this planet, right? Your nervous system, your self, your identity. But also it wasn't you, it was your music, but it didn't feel like the biggest actualization of you. And so that's disorienting too.
Yeah, totally. There was that too. And I think also what's coming to me, if I'm being real, is there was like a sense of entitlement I had. I think because like this was always something I was like, this is what I'm going to do. And it's going to be like, I'm going to go for it. I think when I started experiencing these really like, I guess, milestone type moments, I was like, yeah, of course. I didn't have that gratitude. Like I didn't have that humility that I have now, having like experienced obstacles and like contrast and like having nobody believe in me and like having to do things on my own. Like I've definitely been humbled on my journey. And so now, even when like moments like this happen where you asked me to be a part of this, I'm like grateful. And I wasn't able to, I think that's a muscle too, right? To be able to like look around and like take into account all the things that are like all the wonder that's happening in your life. Like there was a sense of entitlement I had. Like I'll never forget, I was in Australia. We were about to go on stage at Laneway, which that performance is like on YouTube. And Flume's manager was like, oh, the song has just reached #1 in Australia. And I'm like, cool. Like I wasn't like really like, wow, you know?
And now you are.
Yeah, like every little thing. But I think also what I have learned is that these big moments in your life are hard, even for your nervous system to fully receive, if you're not exercising the muscle of like, even like the deer that we just saw, you know, like these little moments that you tend to just kind of brush over. Going to a little library and finding a book that you've been looking for, or just a book that just kind of lands. Like these little things that I feel are so magical and important to like receive and just like feel grateful for. I really do believe it's a muscle that we exercise. And when we can like, when we're able to do that with little things, it makes it easier for these big moments when you're, you know, at the Olympics or at the Grammys, where you're like able to, your nervous system, it's a nervous system thing.
To be present.
To fully receive. Because when the thing is so big, it's like you want a lot of money, but like, and you receive that, but your nervous system might not be able to hold on to it.
Tell me more about receiving, because I do feel like this was something we talked about when we first met too, about like you were like, I'm learning how to receive more.
Yeah.
And I'd actually never heard, one of the coolest things about me getting to know you, and I told you this, I was like, oh, we've had such different experiences because the words you use, I've never heard them.
Really?
Well, I've never heard, I mean, I've heard like receive in the context of like in a relationship, like you need to learn how to like receive love that in a different way than you grew up. Like I've only really heard it talked about that, or maybe friendship, but not as like a human experiencing like the world. I think about presence, which is the word I used, and it wasn't the word you used.
Yeah, I love that word.
But tell me more about your path to receiving.
When you are young and you're like, this is what I'm meant to do, it's like you kind of, I don't know, you just are like, yeah, it's a mountain that you climb and you get to the top and you're like, yeah, next mountain, next mountain. But you're not like celebrating the mountain that you just climbed. And celebration is also, I think, a part of receiving, and something I'm still not fully great at is like celebrating, doing something like you like, even if it's like gonna eat something that you love because you just like this thing came through, this manifest, and then you're like, I'm grateful and I'm gonna do some sort of ritual to celebrate that thing.
Yeah.
You know? Or I think another way that's cool to receive is like writing things down when they happen. So you actually like, because pen to paper is really, I don't know if you journal, but like that is a really powerful transmission, just to like, it's one thing to be like, oh, I received that, but then when you write it down and then you're able to look at it after is really, because you might be in like a different headspace the next week, and then you can look back and be like, wow, all of those things came through last week, even if it's like the tiniest. And it doesn't have to be all of these like material things, right? It's like my morning coffee in the sunshine with my dogs on the balcony. That's my favorite thing. That's one of my favorite things. That is my favorite part of my day, is like sitting in the sun with my 2 little chihuahuas and drinking my coffee. So,
do you journal now then? What's your routine?
I journal every morning. Yeah, right now it's like taking a hot shower right when I wake up, which is like an anchor for me. And then I slip back into bed, and I have my morning pages. I don't know if you've heard of The Artist's Way by Julia Cameron, I think. So I bought the actual journal from the book. So it's like massive. It's like this big, and you have to write 3 pages every morning. And so that's like my non-negotiable right now.
It's a great one.
And it's so powerful to just like, just sometimes you're just getting out some like gucky stuff, right? And I always find by the end of the pages, even if I'm like waking up kind of in a shit mood, or I have things that I need to like get off my chest, by the end I'm able to like see it from a different perspective. So
that's awesome. And when did you start doing that?
I've been on and off with it.
Forever?
No, not forever. I guess since I read The Artist's Way, which I think it was like in 2018. I'm not the most consistent person. I'm trying to reframe that for myself, though. I can be. And I'm reframing the word like devotion. Like instead of discipline, it's like devotion. I'm like devoting. Yeah. I've been doing it for like a couple months now. It's pretty powerful.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
If the sun's out, I've got my gooders on. I wear them on literally every run, except for my 5 a.m. workouts that I've been doing with my teammates before the sun's even shining. But by the time the workout's over and the sun's up and I'm stopping into a cafe for brunch or a coffee, my gooders are going on. These are the Gooder Sonic G's. They are the human energy drink color, and I love them. They've got polarized lenses, an adjustable nose piece, and they're durable, lightweight, and the flexible nylon frames make me feel very fast. They do not bounce, and they do not get tangled in my hair. Hey, now that I think about it, the lights here in the podcast studio are kind of blinding like the sun. So my gooders are on. Ready to upgrade your eyewear? Visit gooder.com/mentorbuffet to claim $10 off your first order. That's GOODR.com/mentorbuffet. Bye-bye. I'm training again, and I have a PR in the marathon on my mind. I'm chasing a time that I set 7 years ago, so now I'm obviously older and wiser, and I'm also busier. I have to make the most of my time, and I really know now that recovery isn't optional. I want to do it right, so I've been putting a lot more time and attention into my recovery both before and after my runs. My go-to is the Therabody Jet Boots Pro Plus. I use them basically every day. With compression, vibration, and LED working all at once, my legs are recovering on a deep level. That's 3 therapies at once. Less fatigue, more adaptation, that's what's making me faster. And that's what's gonna make you faster. If recovery is something you know you should be taking more seriously, visit Therabody.com and use the code MentorBuffet at checkout for 15% off one product of your choice. Your body and goals will thank you. Terms and conditions apply. Okay, so when I hear you talk, there's this the feeling that I get is like the perspectives you have and this processing of your life, like both like what's happened and what's happening, it feels like you're like, and I know you have a really great partner. I know you have great friends. I know you have supportive family, but it does feel like you're processing a lot of this like on your own.
Mm-hmm.
And like, I was hoping we could go into a little bit. That's just like the sense I get is like, and it's wonder. And it feels like you have a really, again, like this optimistic, like you're trying to stay on your own team. Like you're really not a negative person, but it does feel like you're alone.
Yes.
And I'm just being like really.
No, it's my whole life. I felt that way. Yeah.
And even when you talk about like that peak or being right off stage, it feels like when I imagine you, I imagine all these people around you, this industry, the stage, the crowd, the people, but I just feel you on your own.
Oh yeah. It's a lonely journey being an artist.
Yeah. Can you like tell me more? Well, and we're just talking about you.
Yeah,
so it's
been a lonely journey for me. Yeah.
Can you tell me like, I'm curious about that because I think one, I think people can relate. Two, I think people can't necessarily relate and they don't know what that is. And how could you be in a room with all these people, or how could you be about to step on stage with thousands of people waiting to hear your hit and you feel alone? And I'm not asking you to answer why. I'm asking you to just describe the feeling or the experience of that. If you're willing to like kind of just talk about it a little bit, whatever comes to mind.
Yeah. Damn. I think one of my biggest lessons as an artist in this life is learning how to, because when I first got signed, my idea was the label's just going to like tell me what to do and they're going to make my dreams happen. And then I learned that's not how it works. And I've learned along my journey, like, the only person that's going to, like, be in my corner, not the only person, that's not true. But, like, no one's going to back me like myself. And just learning to, like, fully see myself and validate myself and champion myself when nobody else is. Because it's a harsh industry. Like, you have your moment, and if you don't capitalize on that, people, years later, they're like, she had her moment, and, like, what's she been doing?
So
it's like that.
What is it to build yourself up then? Like what was it? And take me through. A lot of
breakdowns.
Well, take me through, like, because if you've always felt somewhat alone, but
even in my family, yeah.
But you do feel different now, and you probably have more tools. Can you take me a little bit through, like, what it was to be alone then in that environment, and how it is to be alone now, and what is changing, and what were the skills and tools you had then? And what's changed now?
I think what's changed now is...
But what was it then?
I think, again, I was experiencing a unique journey that nobody in my life could understand. So I'm like, even if I was sharing what I was going through with the label with my family, it's like they're supportive and they're listening, but like nobody, I didn't have a mentor, like somebody, an older an artist who had been through that journey, who I could talk to about that. Like I just didn't have those people in my life that I could turn to who really understood like that, what I was going through. So that's why I'm also really passionate to be that person for like young, especially female artists now.
Yeah. Where were the other female artists? Like, where were they? Were they just unavailable, or did they not meet you, or was it competitive? Like, why were... Or do you have no idea where anyone was?
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, I didn't.
You don't have to know. I
didn't encounter. I met producers, I was like in rooms with, that's a different thing. But for some reason, like, yeah, wasn't sent like an artist who I could like turn to.
Yeah. It's a solo sport.
It's a solo sport, and it is competitive, especially with women. Like female artists are like, unfortunately, like even in the industry kind of like makes female artists feel like they have to compete for the spot.
Because
right?
There is a spot.
There is a spot, but I feel like it's different for women.
How?
I just feel like women are just like pinned against each other more, just like historically and in just life, you know. But and you just even see it on a like a red carpet. It's like, who wore it best? Like, you don't see men being compared like that.
That's true.
It's like, why do we have to compare who wore it, like whose dress is nicer?
Yeah,
that's crazy.
Yeah, that is true. I'm like, tell me about what it was to be lonely then, and I'm trying to figure out, like, were you lonely because people were mean to you?
I think I've always felt alone. Like, even growing up in my family, I am a big feeler, highly sensitive person. I grew up learning pretty quickly that like my feelings and senses made people uncomfortable and were like a lot. So I learned, like, I didn't have family really to turn to when I was like going through stuff. It was a lot of like, we can't deal with this, you can deal with it. And so I learned from a really early age, you got to deal with what all of the uncomfortable emotions you're feeling. The only person that you can turn to is yourself. But I didn't have the tools to like regulate my nervous system and to like hold space for myself. So what I did is I just shoved that shit, you know, like avoided, like hated those parts of myself that were not as savory. So now, along this healing path, I'm learning how to be that for myself. And I think when we meet ourselves deeply and we're able to like hold space for all of our parts, we're able to then like have more real, vulnerable, intimate connections with people. So like my friendships have changed because I was always that friend who was able to like hold space and like give advice. But when it came to like me leaning, I couldn't do that.
Oh, yeah.
Because vulnerability was like too messy, and I just was like, there was a lot of shame there that I didn't feel safe. And so now I feel like I have, with discernment, those friends that I do feel like I can, you know, but I think when you accept your stuff, it's like, it's a lot easier to just like share your stuff, you know?
Yeah.
So then you do feel less alone.
Yes, because it starts with being alone. Loneliness, it sounds like, starts with being isolated from yourself.
Literally.
Which is what it sounds like you were, particularly and publicly, because it was like literally your output was not, you weren't identifying with it in terms of like being really seen and fully, even if it's beautiful, it could not feel like you, and you could feel isolated from yourself, you know? And it's actually wild because it's your own voice. Because to me, like the closest thing I can like say is like, the only thing I hear in my own voice is like, you know, interviews, whatever, but like the voice inside my head, which nobody else hears. Yeah. And so that can be weird for me because I've had dark thoughts, right?
Yeah, I was like, what's that voice like? Are you...
Well, when I was like depressed, it was like a repeating, I actually call it like a repeating song of like the depressive thoughts that I had. And I had to like learn how to be like, I have thoughts, but I am not my thoughts. And that like saved my life.
That's
because
a big one.
Yeah, I was so confused about like, why are these thoughts in my own voice saying awful, awful things?
Yeah.
And I had to realize like it could be in my own voice, but it's not me.
Yeah.
So what is the routine then? Like, how do you hold space for yourself now that you still have this like, whatever, the loneliness? And I'm not, and I don't think loneliness is bad. It's just, it feels like you were having a really singular life.
Yeah, I think there's a difference between like feeling alone on your journey and like lonely. I don't feel lonely. I used to feel lonely a lot because I wasn't able to be vulnerable with people. So my relationships didn't have like that depth and safety to like really be seen and be held and be loved for like all of me. But as an artist I still do feel like I'm doing it alone. Although I'm so open to receiving support.
Yeah.
But in the past, I'm going off on a little tangent, but in the past, I was so desperate for that support and to be seen that I ended up making choices that weren't necessarily aligned with the right people.
Because you thought that they would.
I kind of had a scarce mentality, like, oh, this person wants to be a part of this, and it's probably the only person that's going to want to be a part of this. So I'm just going to like jump into a business partnership with this person because kind of just like, taking the crumbs because I don't feel like I'm deserving of like, the person that really feels right for me. And I'm also afraid to like be patient.
Because it feels like if you enter something like that, it's going to lead you astray. Because if you're in the like subordinate, if you're like, I'm just lucky to be here, then you're just following somebody else's path, right?
Yeah.
Even though they might need you more than you need them.
Or you're just like, then you're just like constantly like meeting, like just in challenging, rubbing situations with this person because like it's just not, it's not right, right? I think a couple managers for sure. There was a point where I just was managerless for a long time and I'm like, I need to put out music, and I felt like I had to have a manager in order to put out music. And so I was like, I took some meetings and I met a couple people, and I wasn't really that excited, but I jumped into it because I'm like, well, these are the only people that I have, are interested right now. So, but yeah, and then it just wasn't a fit. And very quickly I'm like, okay, well, yeah, but that's, I think you learn through making choices like that. But now I'm like, I don't have a manager, but I'm not going to wait to like put music out for that because I feel like the aligned person's gonna see what I'm putting out and be like, I want to be a part of this.
Yeah. Well, and now you're not in the dynamic that you were in initially was being prevented from putting out music, and so now it's like you're in the exact opposite situation.
Yeah.
So you're not benefiting or prevented by a label. You're not in that situation. So it presents like its own set of challenges and freedoms, which is so wild. You are as capable as ever, and you're in the exact opposite situation that you were in when you were 21.
Yeah.
So much of my life I think about as contextualized. Like I'm an Olympian who's a writer who now lives in LA, who's now sitting on the top of a hill. But I had this epiphany recently that nature takes me out of my before and my after. The outdoors brings me into the exact present, and I can let go of who I was and who I'm becoming, even if just for a few minutes. I can be exactly who and where I am. That perception shift feels both like a reset and a discovery at the same time. And my go-to place in nature is the dirt trails behind my house in LA. And I've got like 10 different Merrells in my rotation, but lately I've been loving the Relay. They're a remake of the archival designs with a new twist. And I wear them on these walks, but I also wore them to Sundance this year. For over 45 years, Merrell has been the global leader on the trail, innovating and crafting footwear designed for adventures of all speeds and sizes. Add a comfy pair of Merrells, like the Relay, to your rotation with 25% off your first purchase using the code MentorBuffet2026 at Merrell.com.
I do have a mentor. Her name is Hen Alizra, who I worked with a couple years ago, and she helped me with this. She helped me with feeling my feelings, and she taught me, which sounds so like, I'm like, it sounds so simple and like duh, but at the time I was like, she's like, feelings aren't good or bad. They just are, and they need to be felt. In order to like move through them, they just want to be held and acknowledged. So I would literally get on these Zoom calls with her, and we would start talking about just my life, and certain things would come up that would clearly, be an emotional trigger. And my go-to is to run up to my mind and start intellectualizing and asking why, and like understanding it from a mental perspective, because like feeling it is just too uncomfortable. So we would just sit, and she'd be like, sit. And like we would sit in silence, and she would get me to feel. And then I would want to, I'd be like, okay, I'm good. And she's like, no, go back, go back. And so like holding space for myself is just like feeling without judgment, like allowing myself to feel rage, whatever the emotion is that might not be like comfortable, and not judging myself for it and loving myself through it. And just like, it's hard. For me, it's hard to do.
Is it hard to prompt or hard to sit through?
It's hard to sometimes prompt, like, sometimes I don't know if you feel this way, if you feel like you're an avoidant. I'm definitely an avoidant person, but I don't want to sit through the storm. I want to just like get to the other side and learn the lesson, but I don't want to like sit through it and feel it. And sometimes I feel like I'll like want to cry, but like I'm like, I start to like disassociate from my body. And so I'm like, no, but I want to cry. I want to like get whatever this is out. But like my body is still, it's like hard for me to fully connect with my emotions. It's a defense. Yeah, it's to protect myself. I guess as a kid, when you're taught your feelings are too much.
Yeah.
And you don't have people to help you, just like tools people who don't have tools for themselves to like feel, and like you learn to do that. You learn to run up because it's like, I can't feel these feelings. So what am I going to do? I'm going to avoid. I'm going to intellectualize. I'm going to,
it's a habit. Actually.
It's a habit. Yeah. But now I'm trying to like get more in my body.
Which requires what?
Grounding, movement. I think movement's really helpful.
You love pickleball.
I love pickleball.
You
Dude,
love it.
I fucking love it.
You love it more than anybody I know.
No, I love it more than anything, I think. I love it more than music. No.
Alessia taught me. You taught me. I'm talking as if there's
no,
a whole
I
audience.
love pickleball.
You taught me pickleball.
Do you see how much I've lit up?
Yeah, you love it. What do you love about it?
Wait, I've taught you so much about pickleball.
You taught me pickleball.
Oh,
you
yeah.
literally taught me.
Yeah, literally. And you were really good.
Well,
you were really good at it.
I'm going to be okay at every sport I try, but I loved it. And I don't love every sport I try.
Right.
But you love it.
I love it so much.
What do you love about it?
I'm so grateful. I love the sense of community.
Yeah.
Again, being like a lone wolf or feeling like that, to have like a community of people who we love the same thing, and you're playing, you're having fun.
Yeah.
It's very childlike. It's not serious, but it is serious at the same time. So it does kind of like scratch that competitive itch, because I grew up competing in dance. I grew up playing soccer. Like, I'm a competitive person. So it scratches that itch, but it's also really playful. And I'm present. Yeah. I'm able to like move through emotions. Like if I've had like an activating thing happen and I go play pickleball, I'm sure you experience this when you run. By the end of it, I'm like, wait, what was I even like bothered by? And the presence of like what the 3 hours that I'm there, I'm just like, it's me and the ball. It's like me so focused on this like present moment. It's just really fun.
This is very as playful as the conversation is. That's so real of like sport, and particularly stick and ball sports, where like there's a threat, you need to pay attention. Or
stick and ball.
They are called stick and ball sports.
It's crazy.
They're called stick and ball.
Wait, I didn't even catch that. That's hilarious.
Stick and ball sport, baseball, pickleball,
yes, I love
tennis,
a stick and ball sport.
Lacrosse.
No, the hand-eye coordination.
Hockey,
and like,
stick and ball. Well, and it's a threat that's coming at you. You need to stay awake. You know what I mean? So stick and ball sports are great because you're present. I mean, you could say that about like trail running, but I think stick and balls, I'm going to say it as many times as I can.
Stick and ball sports.
They're great because you have to be really present. And yes, I think movement helps you like process things like without trying to. Yeah. It's like how weightlifting like makes you strong without being like, get strong. You're like, if you pick the weight up, you're like, it's going to do something.
Yes.
And I do also feel like if you're someone who has like a competitive, like something inside you, like I think we both have this like bite, like we have a bite, whatever.
That fire, yes.
It needs to come out somehow. And it seems like you're trying to be like much more gentle with like your music and trying to leave space for your feelings. So you need somewhere where you can like get at it in that way. And so I think sports are great for that. And it sounds like so it doesn't sound so random. It doesn't sound like escapism. It sounds like highly useful and functional to you for all these, to leave space for the music to not be everything for you.
Yes.
Right?
That part.
And for your feelings to have a place to whatever, like you're
move and just
exactly. So that's really cool. And I think that's another thing of like, we didn't have to talk about this for you to feel good about pickleball. Like you don't have to be like, why is it so great? Like let's get into it. But every once in a while it is fun to Well, no, I think it's fun to trust that if something feels good and right, there's probably so many reasons why it feels good and right. And we need to just trust ourselves more that the things that are starting to feel good and right, whether it's like a friendship or pickleball or whatever, like there's probably so much. It's probably extra good. Yes. Is what I'm saying.
Oh my God.
Probably things that are bad are actually like extra bad too. But we don't have to get into that. But I'm just saying like, I don't know. I'm having this thought.
So real.
You know?
No, that's so real. And I feel so passionate about that, of like trusting the things that light you up, even if it doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
It's just like trusting your, like your and hobbies. Like when I got signed at an early age, again, like you said, music was like my sole focus.
You didn't have hobbies.
I didn't have.
Me neither.
I mean, I grew up competing in dance, but that was like really intense, and I had a really abusive dance instructor. So that also messed with like my nervous system and like my body when it came to movement, because every time I was in dance class, I was being like violently yelled at. And so I'm like, just terrified. So I'm also trying to like undo that and start like learning how to feel safe moving. And that's why I sent you that message where I'm like, I look at you and how like free you are in your body. And I'm just like, that is goals for me, because I'm not. I'm definitely on the path, but there's still that like trauma in my body when it comes to just like moving freely. And when you're competing in dance, you're not free to just like be weird. You have to look like, get your leg up, like, like it's very strict. And like,
I'm connecting the dots now between, I've never done an activity where like the way I move my body is judged. Like running, it doesn't,
true.
You could look like, people have the craziest running form, but if they win, and people are like, that's the one with the swinging arm, or like whatever.
Right, and it's your thing.
It's your thing. It doesn't matter for the result. And so I realized that you were in sports that like gave you guidance about how to move your body and judgment on how your body moved.
Literal judgment, like you're getting like bronze, silver, gold.
Yeah.
After a performance.
Well, also your voice is like a muscle too. Yeah. Like you're being coached. Like all I'm saying is appreciating that a lot of your relationship to like your body and movement was brought up in a place where there was instruction and like guidelines and judgment. And I was not. Like
that's beautiful.
I think I did gymnastics like 2 years and I quit because they were like, I don't know, the splits. It was just like not my thing. Like I just was not that. I was not going to be judged on that. It seemed highly stupid for me to rely on somebody else judging how I never thought I could meet anyone's standards actually. So I didn't even venture in that world.
Honestly, you're lucky. I think that's so beautiful.
But I haven't appreciated how different that is, because I don't think about like, oh, for a kid, like whatever it is, as long as you have as long as you have a great coach and people around you, it's going to be great. But I didn't appreciate that actually there's a fundamental difference between growing up in environments where you're being taught how to use and move your thing versus there are certain activities that's not, I know there's like technique and you do drills, but like running just never felt governed like that. And nor did like soccer. Like and I know you played soccer too, but
I loved soccer.
Because there's just like a get the ball, get to the goal. Yeah. Which can have its downsides too, right? Because then you're just results oriented. Like there's a different, I'm just appreciating what it means for your relationship with your body.
Yeah. And it impacts me as an artist.
And your movement. Right.
Well, and my freedom in my body. Because like when I look at artists that I admire, they're just so free and like so them, right? And so I really do believe, I definitely have this perspective of like, we all come here as souls to learn lessons. Like I do believe that wholeheartedly. And I do feel like all of the things I experienced being a competitive dancer, having an abusive dance teacher who like scared the shit out of me and like made me feel like really, I'm learning how to like heal all of that to be this like authentic and free artist now. And that's the path for me. That's been like the journey, the lesson for me. And it's been a lot of internal stuff, right? That people don't see.
You're saying the lesson is the point of life?
Yeah, I do believe that.
That's cool.
Like I believe as souls, we come here to like learn and experience certain things, right? It might not be like I feel like every soul is different and wants to experience. Maybe a soul comes here to just like, I want to live on a farm and just like live this like really simple, beautiful life. And like, that's what I want to, because my last life was fucking crazy. So you know what I'm saying? But I just like, I see all the things I've experienced, the conditioning of my family. And I'm like, oh, so interesting that I chose to be an artist with all of these, all of these like obstacles that I've had to face to like unravel this conditioning or this like fear of being free in my body and like trusting my instincts as a creative being.
That's a beautiful perspective.
Maybe it's spiritually bypassing, but like no,
I don't even know what that
I'm
phrase
kidding.
means.
I'm kidding. It's the Sag rising in me.
I don't know what any of this means.
I love that.
You literally just said, like, I have no idea what you just said, but, like, the listeners will understand. That sound, really good. That taste, really, really good. That feeling, the best. Go brewing. Why do I feel so good? Because I'm not drinking. Seriously, I've been swapping out Go Brewing for everything. Honestly, not even drinking soda, not drinking beer, no alcohol. I'm still drinking water, but I am drinking Go Brewing and my body feels amazing. I'm ripping through those trails. I'm running through the dreams. It's been good, honestly, and I recommend it. No more hangover. Go Brewing has a beer club where they launch a new beer every month. So every month you can open your fridge and go on a brand new adventure. Go to gobrewing.com/Alexi50 for 50% off your first beer club subscription with code Alexi50.
The relationship to social media is all connected to like everything we are talking about in some way. So,
and it didn't exist as much when we were in 2016, which was like, well, I guess, I don't know. I think I'm a little older than you because I keep aligning.
I think you're a year older than me, right?
So when I was 26, whatever, when I was like when I had like my Olympic peak and you talked about the being backstage with Flume and blah, blah, that was like around the era when social media was like important, but it wasn't what it is today.
Totally. Yeah, not. And the algorithm wasn't the same.
Yeah, it was infant.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh my God.
So I do believe that the singularity of somebody's like voice and what they have to say and who they are will never like register with that right away. Like it does not happen like linearly with the algorithm, and you have to like maintain who you are and make that choice. It's a hard choice to make, but it's more enduring. It's more fulfilling. I think it's the right thing, but I think it's hard.
To like, you're saying it's hard to like be authentic or fully yourself?
Yeah, just to be on the path of like the strongest voice in your head is you.
Not just trying to serve the algorithm, but just like listening to your creative instincts and
exactly what you were saying that you were not doing initially, which was you listened to the other voices in the room first, and then you listen, and then you barely hear your own, to now going to your own silent room alone and finding your artistic voice and your emotional voice and all these things. I'm saying like those are directly at odds with each other. And so how do you wrestle with the magnetic force of social media or do you just ignore it, or like how are you dealing with it?
I mean, I think for me, social media is like a mirror, and it's been showing me like where I'm still afraid to fully be myself, where I'm still afraid to like speak my truth and share my ideas and like move in the way I want to move, whatever. It's like there's like a level of veneer that I still like see in myself, like this like perfectionist, like gotta show up a certain way, where it's just like I want to just completely like dismantle all that and just be. And I know that the more I do that, even on my stories, like when I'm like being me and like my silly ass self, like people just want real. And I think there's a way to be, and this is something I've been reflecting on, there's a way to like listen. Two things can be true. You can like listen to yourself, and I believe like trusting your intuition is everything. Like listen to yourself and act on the creative instincts, but also use the algorithm and like the facts and the data to maybe help your creativity. Okay, like I think you can use that to like help with the creativity, if that makes sense.
Like poetic boundaries that exist.
Yeah, just like, okay, we shot this thing in a field, like maybe like the scene, I don't know, like maybe the scenery isn't as exciting as it could be, so let's try it. It's just you're experimenting.
Yeah, it's like you're seeing it as a good challenge?
Yeah, like, yeah, I do see it as a good challenge now. I used to see it as this like barrier, and now I'm like, it's an opportunity to share.
Okay.
It's an opportunity to connect, and that's all I've ever wanted, is to like connect and build community and not feel alone, right? To like have this authentic exchange with people, but that takes me being comfortable being seen for all of me. So that's why I'm saying it's all connected, because like this work of me learning to hold space for all of my stuff that might not be pretty, loving myself through it, having these vulnerable conversations, showing up authentically. I think that's what really speaks to people. And I think people can smell when it's not that.
Right.
People can sniff out like the phony. And I think it's, I know when I'm posting something from a place of fear and scarcity.
Yeah.
Versus I'm so excited to share this thing and I don't care how many views it gets. That's, I think, how you know you're sharing something aligned with you, is if you're like, I just am happy for this to be out there and I don't care, versus I'm making this thing hoping that, I'm making this thing to serve the algorithm. So if it doesn't get the amount of views or engagement, you feel like, fuck, that wasn't in alignment, and it wasted my time, and it also didn't get me the thing that I'm wanting it to get me.
Yeah, that was really, really articulate. That was so well said.
Thanks. But that
was cool.
I think it's a mirror, and the more you're just you, it's like, you're emitting a frequency out to the world, and the people that align with your frequency, like you just being you in this world, like that's how I found you. I found you through a clip of this podcast, and I was like, I like her.
Aww.
Her energy's amazing. And then I followed you and we connected.
You were like I think you're like the first friend I've ever made through social media.
No, literally. like I don't.
A really good friend that I've made through. Yeah, which I was like, I've never done this. I know.
It was weird. We were both on the walk.
We're like a social media success friendship story.
But that's like you were just being you and authentic and emitting your frequency. And I resonated with it.
Yeah.
And I was like, I like this. So I want to see more.
Yeah, that's cool. That was really well said.
Thanks.
Like I have no feedback. I only want to listen to it again so I can absorb it, because it's so spot on. And it like what you articulated also makes me feel so much less lost in like the decision making process of how to like relate to it. Like you like just gave really clear guidelines for like when it makes sense and when it doesn't.
Because you feel it, I'm sure, right? Like, have you ever felt like,
yes. No, I get it.
It doesn't feel good.
No, it doesn't feel good. And I'll like stay up all night. Like I'll have anxiety.
If I want to delete this post so bad.
Yeah, but sometimes you can't because they're required posts and they don't feel like you. Like that's where it gets complicated with like.
When you're doing brand stuff.
Yeah, it does. And I think that gives me like more anxiety than like anything in the world, is when it feels like a compromise of who I really am, but there's an obligation, and then I don't spend enough time on it to make it feel like truly, truly authentic. Or I don't know if it's the time or if it's the mandate or whatever it is. I'm not sure like why it doesn't intersect always. But when it doesn't, I feel exactly what you described.
What does it feel like?
Oh, I feel terrible if I'm like, because I feel like I'm in this argument with myself where I'm like, wait, it just makes me want to like disappear.
Yeah.
When it isn't aligned.
Totally get that.
Even though what you're putting out is saying, give me attention, you actually want to disappear. That's
you're
crazy.
Like, wait, I don't want the attention for that.
Yeah, you don't want
That's why I want to delete the post, because I'm like, oh, this doesn't.
Yeah. And that's like in direct conflict with each other, because you're saying, you're putting something out there and you want to disappear.
Yeah.
That's a terrible.
It's information.
It's information. And then And I'm getting like better and better at it. Like I have such a different way of relating to it. But when it occasionally happens and it isn't aligned, it still feels just as bad as it did the first time it wasn't aligned. Or worse, because I promised myself I wouldn't do that.
Yeah. You're like, I know better. I've done this better. Before, and no. Oh, that's so real. Yeah.
Yeah. But also I have to trust that the people that like are meant to be in my life or whatever it is that if there's some feeling of like, this is going to ruin my life because of how I'm relating to the world or other people, I think I also have to have the maturity to say like, it's not that big of a deal.
I was going to say, so it's like, it's literally not that deep and people aren't reading into it like you are.
And they disappear.
And so they're not going to like abandon you because you posted one ad or whatever that is like might not be fully authentically who you are.
Yeah. So those are both true.
Yeah.
So
yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Oh man.
It's true. And again, I think that's learning how to be comfortable being seen and all. Like, you're not always going to be able to show up fully authentic. Like at the beginning of this interview, I was nervous as fuck. And I'm like, fuck. Yeah. I just want to be me. But sometimes it takes a second, you know? And it's okay to show up being nervous or fearful or whatever. Like,
yeah, you're saying we need to have like more grace. Yeah.
And that's the reparenting of to ourselves, because like, I think a powerful thing is when you're going through something to like look at yourself like I would look at you if you came to me with the same thing.
Yeah.
I'd be like so much more compassionate.
Yes.
And like give you so much more grace than I would give myself.
But that's also why this friendship means a lot to me, because the more I meet, particularly girls around my age who are highly like dream chasing, successful, also have had their like undulations with like process and
that's a good word.
Everything. Yes, one word that I give you. The more I meet people like you, which is actually quite rare for me to have like a friendship like this, the more I realize that you go through similar stuff as me, so I can have more grace with myself because of the grace that I wish for you to have for yourself. And also realizing that it's actually not that abnormal to like be in this exact emotional like roller coaster that I go through as I continue to grow and change, continue to find success. Yeah. And so it's getting a little easier. Now that I like have a smaller community of people that I assume are going through similar stuff, it does help.
Yeah, I mean, that's why being able to be vulnerable is so important, because it's like you can't, if I'm sharing something so vulnerable with you, you're like, shit, I've been going through that too, and I thought I was alone.
Yeah, and
that's so powerful.
Yeah, we don't need to talk about this every day for me to, from afar, know that I like have you as like a satellite, really, really close friend, even though I don't know every day that you're going through this stuff. I just assume that generally we're like in the same little like Milky Way moving through this universe.
Yeah.
We know we have support for each other a lot of the time, even though like our interactions might be like super brief reactions or we get ramen now and then. But I don't know the everyday ups and downs of your life. But I know that broadly you're going through similar growth and changes me cellularly or something. And that's enough sometimes. Yeah. Right?
For sure. Yeah, I'm definitely not somebody who like is with like that with friends, like always like having to share what I'm going. I go through a lot. I work through a lot on my own, but then we have our meetups. Where then we are able to like share. And
well, we're also girls in our 30s that live in LA. You can't. You literally can't hang out all the time. You don't drive. Should I not tell the world that? No, I don't
drive. Yeah, it's true.
Sorry, and the only girl who doesn't drive in LA, people, Alessia.
I've been living here for 8 years, and it's
amazing.
Somehow I've been fine.
If you're enjoying Mentor Buffet, follow Voicing Change for more inspirational and truly life-affirming content from shows like Soul Boom, The Proof, Feel Better, Live More, and the Rich Roll podcast. Just go to voicingchange.media. That's voicingchange.media for a beautiful selection of productive and positive shows.